All right, folks, what we're going to do in this video is we're just going to talk about utility maximization. This is the second part to the Day 8 lesson. And to introduce you to this part of the lesson, I just want to go over there are two utility maximization rules that you have to follow. And if you always follow these rules in class, solving problems, and in your real life, then you will always be able to maximize your satisfaction, maximize your utility when you're consuming things. The first rule, rule number one, is always choose the marginal unit. That means the next unit. When you're comparing two goods, should I buy this one or should I buy this one? Should I consume this one or should I consume this one? And really it's, should I consume one more of this one or one more of this one? When you're choosing the one more next one, should you choose this one, A, or this one, B? You should choose the one, choose the marginal unit of the good that gives you the most marginal utility per price. Now, what is marginal utility per price? Marginal utility per price is the marginal utility of an item divided by the price of the item. So let's say that we have some good, good A, and if we consume one of that good, our utility, our total utility will be 20, okay? If we consume the second one, our total utility will be 37, and if we consume three of them, our total utility will be 50, okay? Well, we can calculate the marginal utility of each item. How much utility did the first one add? Well, the first one gave us a total utility of 20. Well, usually we start with zero utility. So 0 plus what equals 20? Well, it's 20. Then the second unit, our utility went from 20 up to 37. So how much utility was added on? 17, because 20 plus 17 is equal to 37. Another way to get this number is to do this number minus this number. 37 minus 20 is 17. So then what is the marginal utility of the third unit that you'll consume? Well, we'll do this number minus this number. 50 minus 37 is 13. So that means that the third item that you consume has a marginal utility of 13. And as you can see here, marginal utility is going down, it's decreasing. And that's because of the law of diminishing returns, or the law of decreasing marginal benefit, okay? But what we say in my classes, just generally, as a rule, marginal benefit tends to go down the more you consume, or the more that you produce, or the more that you sell, okay? So now, we can identify marginal utility per price, marginal utility over dollar. We divide the marginal utility by the price. Let's say that each one of these items costs $7. So I'm going to grab a calculator here. And so we're going to divide 20 divided by $7 is 2.86. So the marginal utility per price here is 2.86. So every dollar you spend on the first one will give you 2.86 utility per dollar spent. Then we're going to divide 17 by $7 and we get 2.43. And you can see that the marginal utility per price is decreasing. And lastly, we're going to do 13 divided by the, I'm going to put the $7 over here just to remember that we're charging $7. 13 divided by $7 is going to give us 1.86. So 1.86. So this is how you create a column for marginal utility per price. Okay? So we should always choose the marginal unit of the good that gives you the most marginal utility per price. So if we were comparing this with another good, good B, 1, 2, 3. And let's say we had a utility. I'm not going to go through this. I'm just going to marginal utility and then marginal utility per price. Let's say that the marginal utility per price here was 3.12. The marginal utility per price here is 2.51. And the marginal utility per price here is 1.75. Okay? So assuming we could buy, let's just say we had enough money, and we'll assume that B is a different price. Let's say it's like $5 or whatever. Would you choose A or B for your first unit? Well, A, the first unit of A, is 2.86 marginal utility per price. B, the first unit, is 3.12 marginal utility per price. So you would choose that one first. Then we would compare this 2.51 to this 2.86, and now rule number 1 says that you should choose A over the second unit of B. But now the second unit of B is higher than the second unit of A, so we're going to choose a second unit of B. Now let's say we're going to continue consuming. Now we got to compare the third unit of B, 1.75, to the second unit of A, which is 2.43. So we're going to choose the second unit of A. And now let's say we can consume just one more. We got to compare this one, 3, at 1.86 to this 3 at 1.75. And of course we're going to pick this one, the third unit of A, because it has a higher marginal utility per price. That is the first rule. Now, the second rule, utility maximization rule, is always choose the combination of goods. What's a combination of goods? Well, you just saw it. This is a combination of goods. We're choosing 3 of A and 2 of B. It's a combination of goods A and B. You know, it's like going home. You got groceries, right? You don't have grocery bags. Usually you don't have grocery bags with just one thing in it. You usually have at least 2 different things, right? Typically it's a lot more than that. But when we're choosing in an economics class, we're choosing between 2 things. Always choose the combination of goods that equalizes the ratio of marginal utility per price for all goods. See, this is a ratio. This marginal utility per price is a ratio. We're trying to equalize. When we were picking our third unit here, okay, we're trying to make these 2 balanced. That's why we went to here first, then to here, then to here. Now we're coming over to here because we're trying to equalize the marginal utility per price between the 2 goods. And then here, 1.86 is closer to these are higher numbers, is closer to these numbers than this 1.75, which is why we picked that one next. But oftentimes in kind of unrealistic situations that I usually set up, we wind up getting to a place where we stop, where A and B have equal marginal utility per price. But in reality, in the abstract theoretical realm, we're never perfectly at an equal. That's why we seek to get to a place where the marginal utility per price is equalized. And again, this is an abstract concept inside of our heads, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a couple of examples, and then you'll know how to do that worksheet that I gave you, and you'll also be ready for the quiz, okay? Okay, here's what we have. We've got this situation where we're comparing 2 goods. We're going to consume good X, and we're also going to consume good Y. We might not necessarily eat it. It might be a book and a music and some music downloads. I don't know, okay? But we've got 2 things that we can purchase and consume. We have $21, that's our income, and good Y costs $3 each, and good X also costs $3 each. Now, having the same price is going to make it easier to make the comparison because we don't have to calculate marginal unit per price. If it's the same price, then the marginal unit per price is going to be comparable between the 2 goods. So really, all we really need to compare is the marginal utility of each good. Then after this example, we'll do another example where the prices are different, okay? Now, in order to be able to maximize our utility, in order to be able to solve this problem, see, the question here is, I forgot to ask you the question. The question is, what combination of goods can this person purchase in order to maximize their utility? They want their utility number to be as large as possible, right? That's maximization. That's utility maximization. The first thing that we need to do to be able to answer this question is we need to identify the marginal utility of each one of these items, the marginal utility. So we're going to make a new column. We're going to make a marginal utility column here. And the first one always gives us, that's our marginal utility for the first one, okay, is 50. Well, it's because we start off with 0. When we consume 0, our utility is 0. So 50 minus 0 is 50. And that's how we get the marginal utility, is we take our total utility and subtract away the total utility of the previous item. So now the marginal utility of number 2, the second one of good X, is 95 minus 50, which is 45. The marginal utility of the third one is 135 minus 95, which is 40. I did make this very convenient. I did that just to make the example easy. Then the marginal utility of the fourth unit, 170 minus 135 is 35. Marginal utility of the fifth unit, 200 minus 170 is 30. And the marginal utility of the sixth unit is 225 minus 200. Excuse me, I did something wrong there. Oh, no, that's correct. Sorry. 225 minus 200 is 25. There we go. All right, we've got our marginal utility. Now we're going to go on to the marginal utility of good Y. Marginal utility. All right, marginal utility of the first one is 40. Marginal utility of the second one is 77 minus 40, which is 37. Marginal utility of the third one is 111 minus 77, which is, let's see, 34. Okay. The marginal utility of the fourth unit is going to be 142 minus 111, so that's 31. The marginal utility of the fifth unit is 170 minus 42, which is 28. And then the marginal utility of the sixth unit is 195 minus 170, which is 25. Okay? And so now, how many things can we buy? We can buy, we have $21, right? And we can spend, they're $3 each, right? This is $3 and this is $3, right? So $21 divided by $3 is 7. So we can only buy 7 things. So we got to find out which 7 things we should buy. Okay? So should we get good X or good Y first? Well, good X has a marginal utility of 50, and good Y, the first one, has a marginal utility of 40. Well, 50 is larger than 40, so we're going to pick good X. Now, that's 1. We're buying 7 altogether, right? So now we're going to compare the second one, which gives us a marginal utility of 45, to the first one of Y, which gives us a marginal utility of 40. 45 versus 40, 45 has a higher marginal utility per price, so we're going to pick that one. The third one of A has a marginal utility of 40, and again, we're comparing to a marginal utility of 40. Now it doesn't matter. They're equalized. See what I mean? This is what I mean by equalized marginal utility per price. It doesn't matter which one we pick because they're both going to give us the same utility. So we're going to pick Y. Now we're going to compare the second one of Y, 37, to the third one of X, which gives us 40. So we're going to take the one that gives us 40. We've bought 4 things so far. We're going to buy 3 more. Now we're going to compare number 4 of X, which gives us 35, to number 2 of Y, which gives us 37. Well, 37 is higher than 35, so we're going to pick the second one. We can buy 2 more things. We're going to compare the third here, which gives us 34, and the fourth here, which gives us 35. 35 is higher, so we're going to pick the fourth one of X. So we're buying 4X. Now we're going to compare the fifth one of X to the third one of Y. The fifth one of X gives us a utility of 30, And the third one of y gives us a utility of 34. 34 is larger than 30, so we're going to pick another good y. And there it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so our total utility is going to be the total utility of y plus the total utility of x. 170 plus 111 is 281. $170 plus 111 is 281. So our utility, our total utility is 281. Now, if we had picked another x instead of this y right here, then we would have only added 30 on instead of 34. So we would have 4 less utility. We would have 277. That's not maximum. This is maximum. Back here, if we had chosen a fourth y instead of a fourth x, this one's 35, this one's 31. This is 4 less. Again, we would only have 277. So we have found the maximum point. We were at 277 up to 281, then back down to 277 on the other side. And so we found, by following these rules of marginal utility, we found the maximum place, the maximum amount that we should buy. So we will be more satisfied than any other situation if we buy 4 of good X and 3 of good Y. That's utility maximization. Now let's do a second example where the goods have different prices. All right, here's another situation where we want to identify the right mix of goods to purchase that would maximize utility. Now the situation faced by this person is they have an income of $33, or they have $33 to spend. Good Y costs $3 for 1 unit. Good X costs $5 for 1 unit. And then we have the units up to 7 and the total utility. Okay? So we can't answer this question just by looking at total utility. We need marginal utility. So we're going to identify the marginal utility of each of these. So let's do marginal utility. Of the first unit is 50. Second unit, 95 minus 50 is 45. 135 minus 95 is 40. 170 minus 135 is 35. 200 minus 170 is 30. 225 minus 200 is 25. And 245 minus 225 is 20. Now let's do marginal utility of good Y. Marginal utility of the first unit is 39. Marginal utility of the second unit, 75 minus 39 is 36. Marginal utility of the third unit, 108 minus 75 is 33. Marginal utility of the fourth unit, 138 minus 108 is 30. Fifth unit, 165 minus 138 is 27. Sixth unit, 189 minus 165 is 24. And the marginal unit of the marginal utility of the seventh unit is 210 minus 189, which is 21. Okay? Now, because these two goods have different prices, this is $3 and this is $5 per unit. You can't directly compare the marginal utility of the first items. You can say, oh yeah, the marginal utility of this one is 39 and the marginal utility of this one is 50, so I should go with good X. But you're forgetting that good X costs $5 to buy and good Y only costs $3 to buy. So in order to get that 50, you have to spend more money, where over here you can spend less money and get something close to 50. So in order to be able to compare comparable items, see what's going on here is it's like comparing liters to gallons. Okay, we need a common conversion, and that's what marginal unit per price is we divide the marginal utility by the price, and we get a per dollar utility, marginal utility, and then that can be compared as the same units. So we need to make a column here for marginal utility per price, which is per dollar, okay? In this case, it's dollars. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide each one of these numbers here by $5. 50 divided by 5 is 10. 45 divided by 5 is 9. 40 divided by 5 is 8. 35 divided by 5 is 7. 30 divided by 5 is 6. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4. And what this means is that the first unit of good X provides us with 10 units of utility per dollar spent. And since we're spending $5, that would be 50 overall units. So now, but look what happens when we go to the second item, the amount of utility per dollar goes down. And now we're only getting 9 points of utility per dollar spent. Okay? So now we need a marginal utility per price. Marginal utility per price over here. We're going to do this marginal utility 39 divided by 3. 39 divided by 3 is 13. 36 divided by 3 is 12. 33 divided by 3 is 11. 30 divided by 3 is 10. 27 divided by 3 is 9. 24 divided by 3 is 8. And 21 divided by 3 is 7. Okay? And so what we're going to do now is, in choosing which items we should purchase first or second or third, we are not going to compare marginal utility to marginal utility. We're going to compare marginal utility per price to marginal utility per price. See, if we were choosing just marginal utility, we would not choose good Y because it's 39 and good X is 50. But now that we see marginal utility per price, look at this. The marginal utility per price between X and Y, X is 10 and Y is 13. The marginal utility per price is higher over here. And the utility maximization rule number 1 says to choose the unit, the marginal unit that has the higher marginal utility per price. So we're going to pick one unit of good Y. Okay? Now, that's going to cost us $3. So now we have $30 remaining. Okay? And that's important to keep track of because as we pick these units, our money goes down. We'll get to the point where maybe we can't afford either one of them anymore. Okay? So now we're going to compare unit 2 of Y to unit 1 of X, but we're not comparing the marginal utility. We're comparing the marginal utility per price. So we're going to compare 10 again here to 12 over here. Well, which one's higher? This one's higher. 12 is higher than 10. Per dollar, we will get more utility from buying another one of Y. So we're going to choose a second unit of good Y. Okay, so now that was $3. So now we have $27 left, right? Okay. Now we're going to compare good 3, Y good 3, and X good 1 to each other. So again, it's 10 on X and it's 11 on Y. Well, again, we're going to pick a third unit of good Y because it's giving us more utility per dollar. And so now our income, we just spent $3 more and we're down to 24. Okay? Now we're going to continue because we still have money, right? So we're going to compare the fourth unit of Y to the first unit of X. First unit of X has 10 utility per dollar. Unit 4 of Y also has 10 utility per dollar, so they're equal. See, look, this is utility maximization rule number 2. We want them equalized. We're at that point. And so maybe we want both of these, right? Well, let's just pick one of them first. Let's go ahead and mix it up and we'll pick one of X. So we'll pick our first unit of X, which costs $5. And you might say, no, don't pick X. That one costs more. Yeah, but hang on. It doesn't cost more per dollar. So it doesn't matter which one we pick. Look, overall utility, the fourth unit of Y is only going to give us 30, right? But the first unit of X is going to give us 50, okay? So that's why, so you got to consider that. As long as the marginal utility per price is the same, then it doesn't matter which one you pick. Now, we're comparing the second unit of X, which has a marginal utility per price of 9, to the fourth unit of Y, which has a marginal utility per price of 10. Well, the 10 beats the 9. So we're going to pick one more unit of Y, and that's going to bring us down to $16. Okay? So now we're going to compare the second unit of X, which is 9, with the fifth unit of Y, which is also 9. So we can pick either one of them. We're going to pick X. So we'll get our second unit of X. That's $5. This will bring us down to 11. And so now we're going to compare the third unit. We still have money. Third unit of X with the fifth unit of Y. The fifth unit of Y gives us 9. The third unit of X gives us 8. So we're comparing 8 marginal utility per price to 9 marginal utility per price. 9 is higher than 8. So we're going to pick our fifth unit of Y. And so that costs $3. So that's going to bring us down to $8. So now we're going to compare our third unit of X, which gives us 8 per dollar, to our sixth unit of Y, which gives us 8 per dollar. It's the same. So let's mix it up and we'll pick another one of X. That costs $5. And now, oops, that brings us down to $3. And so now we can actually only now afford another unit of Y. So really that's all we can buy is the sixth unit of Y, which will give us 8. Now let's go ahead and compare it to the fourth unit of X, which only gives us 7. So this is still a good decision. So we're going to pick the sixth unit of Y, and that's going to use up all our money. And so now we are going, the combination of goods that maximizes our utility is to buy 3 units of X and 6 units of Y, and we will have our maximum utility. Now we use the utility maximization rule number 1 through most of that, but here's what I want to show you. Here's utility maximization rule number 2. Our sixth unit gives us 8 marginal utility per price, and the third unit of X also gives us 8 marginal utility per price. So look what we've done. We have chosen the combination of goods that equalizes the marginal utility per price so we can be sure that we are maximizing our utility. And that's how you do these problems, okay? Just let me know if you have any questions. That's all I have for you, and good luck on the worksheets and good luck on the quiz.